Trump economy hot and cold. America recently released its May job numbers and updated March and April. It looked like really good news with strong hiring in those months. And the unemployment rate stayed at historically low mark at 4.3%. Of course, I also mentioned that I was a bit cynical about the hiring report. Why? Since we're also told rosy numbers during the Biden-Harris administration, just to be told later that they were fanciful at best. In fact, the administration, after it left, there was a restatement of 1 million jobs that didn't happen. Before we dive deeper, a quick shout out to all of you, longtime listeners and the new folks who've just joined me. Your support keeps this whole thing moving. If what you hear strikes a chord with you, post a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe on whatever platform you're on. Something crosses your radar and the slopstream media is ignoring it, as they tend to do, you can always send it my way at DrDaveSavesAmerica.com. I read everything that you send in. Now, some different reports are flowing in as the May numbers get released. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, that's the tracking statistic that tells economists what you and I really pay. It's up to an annual rate of 4.2%. This is a big hike and more than double the target of 2%. To put it in perspective, this is the highest inflation in 3 years. That means most consumers' pocketbooks are really being pinched. It also bodes poorly for the GOP in November. If they cannot reverse this trend and quickly, built into this is $4.60 national average price for a gallon of gas. Although here in Houston, at my local Costco, it was $3.39 a gallon. My point being, the average price includes super high states like California and Oregon. Worse news is that the wholesale inflation index is up a consumer punishing 6.5%, with energy prices a key driver. This is the fastest rate of increase in 3.5 years. Then, balancing the headline hiring report from last week, jobless claims rose to 229,000, which is a big hit in itself. However, again, adding to the confusion, job vacancies were up to 7.6 million. I'm not believing that number. The net is that with inflation up, an increase in the Fed rate might be expected. However, due to the political pressure, I expect the rate to stay the same, not increase. If inflation tilts down, that is probably the max rate. On the other hand, it could be tough to keep the rate the same if this inflationary cycle continues much longer. So what are some real signals regarding the economy today? While Houston's FIFA operation is doing well, there are empty seats at other U.S. FIFA locations. Reports are that $20 will buy you a hot dog and $20 more for a beer. That's a lot more than many people's budgets will stand. Security is more strict at venues than the TSA, but they aren't checking for bombs. They are making sure fans aren't sneaking in food. Prices are at a breaking point as more and more people are refusing to play the game. Musicians are canceling concerts due to Ticketmaster prices that go to that company, not the performers. The big question is this mostly stagnant economy where wages are not growing to keep up with inflation. Why are we seeing prices rise so much for non-essentials like concerts and sports tickets? Don't get me started on the ludicrous prices for the NBA playoffs that just ended. And to cap this week's American finances, the failure of Social Security is now projected to hit a year earlier in 2032 instead of 2033. Think about it. If you're on Social Security and getting the average $20.81 a month, suppose it is cut by 20%. That would be a measly $16.65 a month. For many people, their rent is higher than that. This is not some government giveaway. We, American workers, have paid into these funds for decades. The government has squandered the money. Now they want us to suffer. No, it is time for them to suffer, not the people who paid into this Ponzi scheme. This is the fault of both political parties. No more kicking the can down the road. The end of the road is now. as I proposed recently, the politicians need to adopt Dr. Dave's plan to save America. It can be done. We all need to insist on that. On board with me is the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith. He recently announced that it was time to fix the system. Of course, these clowns were talking about increasing Social Security taxes and reducing or delaying benefits. This is totally unacceptable. This government has taken in trillions and squandered it. Time to cut other government spending and return the stolen money to Social Security and Medicare funds. I have seen reports that Social Security disability payments are being given to people who can work. This is fraud. It needs to be corrected. There are also reports that many Social Security payments are going to people who are already dead. As a quick short-term solution, a full audit of what is currently being paid out and to whom needs to be done. And of course, illegals who did not pay into the system must never receive benefits from any of these programs. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your feedback and concerns. And remember, you can always like, comment, and subscribe right below. And if you've got any ideas for a specific episode or topic, be sure to let us know in the comments. And we generally not only read all the comments, we try and take action based on them. And you can also see us at our website, drdavesavesamerica.com.